Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode number 45 of the Lead to Greatness podcast, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential, and together we can change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Tyler Sullivan. Tyler is the founder of Bomb Tech Golf, an e-commerce store with over 20 million sales since 2012. On today's podcast, Tyler discusses business startup, e-commerce branding, working 4 hours a week with 7-figure salary, how to delegate and do work that matters, and much, much more. Help me welcome Tyler with how he made his first 7 figures in just 3 years.
This is Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
I grew up in Massachusetts. I have a golf company that I started in 2012. We do $8 to $10 million a year.
Wow.
And live a life I never could imagine. So looking back at it, that was one of the best things I ever did. It was a tough decision at the time. Best thing I ever did. I live in Vermont now. I own 2 companies. I also own a marketing agency. And really both my companies started as an accident out of pure necessity, and really was just all passion. And I had no expectations to turn my golf passion into a business. It just kind of happened.
Wow.
And I had some life events that happened throughout that had, these epiphany moments where it turned from like a hobby side hustle to a full-time job because of the pressure. And one of those was I started this golf company, Bomb Tech Golf, just out of fun. Then it was like a side hustle. I was doing okay. And then I found out my wife was pregnant the week before Thanksgiving, and I got fired from my day job.
Wow.
So that was the pressure and kicking the butt that I needed to make that go from a part-time side hustle fun thing to a reality. So that was my first big thing, but I can go deeper into that. But that's where I'm at. I got 2 young kids now. I work on the business, both of them. I have 2 now, and I'm very lucky. Life's good.
How did you tie that passion into making money?
Yeah, so like my story, to take a step back specifically with the golf. So I was attempting to compete in the home run derby of golf. It's called World Long Drive.
Okay.
And I was like the world's worst long driver. That's my joke. And I was competing, and I was making these really odd custom golf drivers that were like really long, extra stiff shafts, really low lofted heads. And I was competing, traveling around. I won like one local tournament with a drive of 360 yards. That's my claim to fame. And I just started breaking golf clubs. And it wasn't from my, my power and muscles, but it was from a local club builder's inability to assemble them properly. So I just started making them myself, just assembling clubs, in my basement or my garage.
It's insane.
And then my buddy's like, yo, can you make me one? I was like, sure. He's like, how much? I'm like, I don't know, $200, $300. I just was like, I was in shock. Someone wanted to buy something from me. And then this is 2012, mind you. So I made the world's worst website you've ever seen. It was like on some platform that you'd never even heard of. It was like a year. And then I finally was on a boat when this magical second epiphany happened, when I got a sale. So I was on a boat with my wife, just chilling. It wasn't a yacht. And an email came in. It was my first sale. And I was like, wait a second, I just need to do more of that. And so that was my first moment. I got to do this. So like from there, I talked to my local college, UVM, where I went to school, where I barely graduated. It took me 5 years. And I said, hey, I would like to design my own product. And this was after a discussion with one of my buddies from my frat. He's like, because I was like, hey, I want to kind of make my own brand. Again, just out of fun, no expectations. So I worked with 4 students for a year. We designed our own product, our own driver. And I cashed in my 401k. I don't know why. And I just went for it and made a bunch of golf clubs. And luckily, I documented my journey on Facebook. And I just was like saying, hey, guys, going up to the college to design a club. Want to get your thoughts, feedback. So I just I didn't like make stuff. I just brought them along for the journey with no expectations. And people enjoyed the journey and my authenticity and trusted me as like a regular guy. And now we've sold over almost 500,000 golf clubs. So I went from hand assembling stuff in my basement and garage to an idea, and just used the power of social media And it was good timing, man. You know, it was good timing. I got lucky, but also I grinded, dude. I worked 20 hours a day, 7 days a week for like 3 years, you know?
You decided to cash in your 401k and go full forth with this. I mean, what were you thinking?
You know, I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't have the pressure of, you know, the kid yet. It was a side hustle. You know, I was young. I had an opportunity to risk it, right? So when I cashed in the 401k, I didn't have any money really anyways. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna throw it in this product. We luckily sold, I remember when we launched our first version, we sold like 10 can a day, which was like the biggest day of my life. It was mind blowing to me that it was even possible. So again, I've had these little like small epiphanies that like change my mindset on what was possible as I go through this. I couldn't even, like, it's funny, I look back and it's like a lot of things I did probably weren't smart, but they were just out of pure passion. So like I was able to work 20 hours a day, 7 days a week because it didn't feel like work. You know what I mean? So like if I sold something I didn't know anything about, wasn't already doing, it would feel like work every second. So that's my biggest thing. I don't talk to a lot of startups now. We, like my agency, we work with bigger brands typically, but do what you like, man. Like you're gonna be doing it a lot. So I don't care if, even if like we're at the point now, I have 2 employees, like I've streamlined the whole business. I only work 6 hours a week on bomb tech, but still, man, I get to go test golf course.
That's awesome.
That's the best job in the world, man. So I'm the unofficial volunteer product tester, is my joke. So yeah, I mean, as from an angle or passion, just do what you like. You'll never feel like work, and that allowed me to do a lot of the wrong things, and just keep working, keep figuring out, and figure out what worked to then get out of my own way, you know. And sometimes you got to take risks, and that was my big risk.
Let's say, Vincent, if it was about money, do you think you would have pushed as hard as you pushed?
No chance. I even went on one tangent at one point and tried to sell something that I knew nothing about because it was like trending, it was hot in the market. I was burnt out in a week because I had no plan. So like going into it with no expectations of money or building a business, just doing it because it was fun and like I enjoyed the process. And that's kind of like where my mindset is at now. I still keep that mindset and try to only pull like the big levers. And sometimes I get even frustrated because I want to work more. You know, because I enjoy it, I like it. It's fun for me, and I have not seen anyone really become successful in a longevity type manner unless they like it. I mean, why make work into work? Make it fun.
What would you say the most important part about what you do?
Most important part now is finding people so smarter than myself and getting out of the way. That was like, so I straight up hustled, grinded, did everything myself to get to like 1 million. When I hit 1 million, I realized, just like in school, I'm not the smartest guy.
How long did it take to do the 1 million?
It took me a long time. It took me, I think it was 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And then once I had that first 7-figure moment, I hired someone on our paid ad side. So I was doing everything myself. So this is what I tell anyone is you need to be dangerous enough in every category to hire and fire, right? So like you need to know enough so you can hire the right person or fire the wrong person. So for me, I learned enough of the skills on Facebook, you know, social media posting, Facebook ads, making products, customer service, all the stuff you need, right? Then when I hit 1 million, I was like, I need some help, man, because I'm busy. I'm like, I can't work anymore. I've got a newborn now. And I started hiring. And that was the hardest process because I didn't know who to hire. So vetting people was like 90% of what I did. And then I finally found a rock star ad guy, and we went from 1 to 4 million. They went 4 to 6. And then I had my second kid. It's another big epiphany. And I was still working on it. And I was like, things are good now. I've been doing this like 6 years. I can't remember the exact timeline. I always mess the years up. And I'm like, why am I working so much? So I said, I need a break. My wife, who supported me through all this and being fired, and my kids, they deserve it. So I had my second kid, who's now almost 4. I was like, I'm taking 6 weeks off. So we sold more stuff when I was not working because I had built the systems and hired the right people. And that was my second epiphany that made me say, okay, I've got an opportunity now with this business to live life, right? I can now focus on the real levers. And I think that's the hardest thing as an entrepreneur is once you have traction and success is like, you want to always be working. So I was able to delegate, and now I work legit 6 hours a week on that, but I only work on big lever things that are not, I'm not in the weeds doing the email. I'm not in the weeds taking the phone calls. I'm not in the daily to-dos.
Yeah.
I'm working on the business. So that was huge for me to figure that out. And from that, I started another company on accident, which now is doing over 7 figures as an agency.
Wow.
So it's just all these things in my life where I think I've been self-aware to, if it's an opportunity, just to go for it and systematize it and live the life you want. Because at the end of the day, what's the point of working if you're not living?
Explain a little bit more of how to grow an e-commerce brand.
Yeah, so this is 2012. So bear in mind it's a different world, but the rules are still the same. It's going to where people's attention are. So for me back then, I just started out of necessity, want, and desire to start documenting my journey on Facebook, right? So I'll never forget the day when Facebook, this is like when Facebook video just came out. I'm so old now, right? And I remember video came out and I was like, I'm gonna make a video. So I made a video in my backyard. My kid was taking a nap and I hit a golf ball into a net and it sounds like a gun goes off. I hit it so hard. And I posted a question, said, does your driver sound like this? And I boosted it for $300. And that video got 300,000 views, 10,000 comments.
Jeez.
So what I did is I commented on every comment till my thumbs were bleeding. It was on like a BlackBerry back then. It wasn't even on like iPhone. Wow. And what that taught me is I was engaging with people that showed interest, right? So I was engaging at a level that people probably weren't even used to. Facebook was newer, brands on there were newer. And I literally, every comment, I don't care what it was, even if I just said thank you, I commented. And I did that. And I took that same approach to email because I noticed early on that email drives about 30 to 50% of revenue for us. And I said, well, if I'm doing this on social media and getting an engagement, why don't I have these real conversations where we're driving revenue as well? And that's my whole approach is really just document and have real conversations with your audience. And it's like, it seems so simple, but it's allowed me to build a brand, not around me, but around my audience and know what they want. There's stuff like there's products that knowledge bomb.
Yes, it is knowledge bomb. Yes.
But there's products that I thought would do well as the owner. Like I know stuff, like you would think, but my audience is the ones that matter. People pitch me all the time, like, hey, what do you think of this product? Think it should do well? I go, I don't know, man. Like it's up to the world to market your audience. So a lot of times I just say, hey, what do you guys think of this? And then they tell me, and we'll ask them in email. We'll get like 5,000-10,000 replies, and it will give us a clear direction. Not only do I want to know, but it helps us launch new products and point the company in different directions.
You are a genius. That is a genius idea. Engaging with the audience. We have this idea. We got this good idea. We think this the best. Everybody thinks it's the best idea in the world. But then you spend all this money, you spend thousands and thousands of dollars on this product that nobody wants. I mean, so I love it what you say. Listen, lead to greatness. Engage with your audience. Find out what your audience want. Listen to them. Engage with them. Find out what they want. Then you deliver the product that they want, and that's how you make the money. Man, I love it. I love it. Continue. You're helping us.
Yeah. So it's been a simple process that like it seems so simple, it's too easy, but a lot of times as you do this as like an accidental entrepreneur, I thought I knew what people wanted. So but I really had to take a step back and operate with no ego and just say, all right, you got, because I remember this, I launched this product that did really poorly, and I was cocky at the time, 2016. It was it's called Beer Putt. It's like beer pong for golf. And being in the frat, 15 years ago, I thought it was a cool idea. Little did I know, half my guys don't even drink beer; they just play golf. So it was a tremendous flop. I had 2,000 units made, and it wasn't like the end of the world, but it was a moment of reality. To really let the audience totally have no ego, learn from them, get better. And that's also really now where I'm at with the business now is when you're early on, you're grinding for every dollar. You want to do whatever it takes just to survive. Yeah. Now we've really pivoted and we invest so much in our customers. So anything ever happens, we have 24/7 support. We'll do anything you want. We make custom videos anytime someone orders from us, thanking them. Handwritten thank you letters, voicemails, and that is the difference. At least for my brand, is that our repeat order rate now is so high. Even though we don't sell like it's consumable, we sell products that could last for years.
Yeah.
People still buy almost everything we have because we truly care. And it's something to say that as an e-commerce brand. And e-commerce right now is absolutely on fire because of COVID.
Wow.
And I'm so golf's on fire too. Two things that in the pandemic, not to derail, but when the pandemic hit,
yes, sir.
I had a huge PO pending. I was like, I don't even know if I need this. I don't know if anyone's gonna be golfing.
Yeah.
And now golf's trending for the first time ever. And golf's been trending down for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I've been doing the golf game out of passion, regardless of industry. And now it just happens to be trending. And guess what? We're busier than we've ever been. So I think timing is one of those things too, as a good learning lesson. It's like, if you're trying to follow a trend, it's already too late. You know what I mean? So do what you love, and you may get lucky. If not, you could run a small business that's something around you love, and that's what else do you really want?
Oh man, I love it. 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 Do what you love to do. Knowledge bomb. And if the trend comes, you will get traction. I mean, you have so many nuggets. I mean, the engagements, engaging with the audience, no ego. Have you ever struggled with this as an entrepreneur where you have this idea and you want to do this idea, the audience tell you no, and you still saying yes? Let me ask you a question. Have you done that? And what was the results of it when you did it? When the audience said no, but you still did it anyway, because that's something you want to do because you was just that passionate about it.
Yeah, there's been situations where we've done that, like one of our wedges at 66. So we have an extreme sand wedge, 66 degrees. And I think there was some confusion because we already have a 72, which is like the most insane lob wedge ever. And it was just, I have done a couple product launches based on products I like. And so I do have a method for this though. So like, I know there's some products that people may not be jumping up and down and saying, I absolutely need that or want that. I always ask for the feedback. So we just do small product launches. I call them micro products or micro product testing. And for us at this point, we do a 500 unit order, and that would be a test. So what we do is, we'll get a sample made, prototype made. I'll test it. That's the hardest part of my job. And if it's good, we'll make the content. We'll launch it via email and text, and we'll then determine based on the velocity of sales. If it hits our threshold, it's like, okay, people want it, then we'll order 2,000. If that goes well, we'll order 10,000 and so forth. So for us, I just try to systematize all the stuff that was in my head into a way that the business could run without me. And that's been probably the hardest part of the last 4 years. And I've worked on it to really, really, I put everything in our project management, which is Monday, based on category. So like, I call it hit with a bus. If I get hit with a bus today, tomorrow, whatever, could my family, could my, friends, could my parents, could someone run this company? Could my kids later? And so that's where my head's been on, is like legacy and really setting up everyone in my life for success if I was gone, which sounds kind of crazy to think about because, I've been sick for a week or something, and I was like, I couldn't work. And I remember when I was doing all this stuff, it was too stressful. And I said, you know what? I got to set this up to run without me. I still have a high level view and vision for it, but I want to set it up to run without me in case something did happen, or if I did have to take care of someone, or if, and this was like, I remember when my kids were really young, and they still are, but they get sick from school, and I wanted to be able to stay home with them and not care. And just I don't care. And now it's so much more freeing because I can work if I want, but I don't necessarily have to. The world's not going to stop. Business isn't going to stop. I got to a point where I used to be obsessed. I'd check all my sales every day. I'd have a little notification when a sale would come in. It's like you can get addicted to that. It's like bing, 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 bing. Now I deleted Shopify app from my phone. I don't check the sales daily, and I have the team do it. So that's like when you're more mature, has allowed me to, this summer with COVID and the world, I golf with my family, once a week. And then every other day we went on the boat and we went fishing with my kids. And you know what? I could have never done that before. And I'm very lucky and fortunate. And, e-com and golf is both trending. So I got no complaints, man.
Wow, that's awesome, and that's what life is all about at the end of the day. Spending time with your family, to enjoy life with your family, and money is still being made while you are vacationing with your family. Let's talk about that. So, how to work 4 hours a week but make 7 figures?
Yeah, so I think a lot of this happens over time. So like if I had this conversation with myself in 2013 or 14, it wouldn't happen. Business wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. You have to set up all the systems, the people to allow this to happen. So I think it's a natural evolution if you want it to happen. And I see a lot of brand owners or business owners that they want to work, they want to grind, they want to do that. I just wanted the freedom to not have to do it, and if I still want to work and grind, I can. So like that's a big difference for me. And like it took me 2 kids, one being fired, and then being fired from a job, 2 kids, and other stuff to finally say enough. You know what I mean? Like what I do now, I mean, it's snowing right now. I call it the golf and ski test. And if I have stuff going on, like today I have a podcast, which I enjoy doing, but if there's like other stuff that is not stuff I like to do and it prevents me from golfing, skiing, or fishing, if I can't do it because I have to do something, I will just either remove it, automate it, or delegate that task. That's literally what I do. It's like, and if I don't have a system to do that, I'll build a system and I'll never do it again. So like I look at doing any task, meaning repeated thing, and I say if I have to do it more than once, I've failed. So like that's how I look at things now with the business. And I set it up, really it was the second kid and that 6 weeks before where I was like, oh my God, I'm not that important. And it was hard to pill to swallow to say, wow, I don't need to be in the office with the guys grinding, doing all this stuff. And like some of our biggest sales days ever, I didn't even have my phone, didn't check sales, and just didn't even know. Like right now we've got a launch going on. I have no idea how it's going, but I remember we did like 102,000 in a day. And I didn't even know. I didn't even look, didn't check anything. I just let it roll. But it took me, I mean, how many years? It's been 6, 7 years to build out the systems, the people, and the brand to a point where you can do that. So it's not like, hey, you're going to go work 4 hours a week, dude, and just start doing 7 figures. So like, don't forget the 20-hour days, 7 days a week, doing all the wrong shit to figure it out and to do it right in all the life moments. But it can be done. And that's how I was able to launch another company with my first employee on my e-com brand, another accidental business that's been great and fulfilling. And we're supporting people really well there because I had the time to do it. You know what I mean? So now it's like these evolutions, and I just have focused on it and tried really hard and, not being a good student, but it's funny. I like never read a book really before, like all through college and before. Now I read a book a week because it's on stuff I enjoy.
Yeah.
What I mean? It's like that's the thesis of my life is do what you enjoy. And it's like I can read a book. I read a book in a day because it was all about e-commerce and it was like so relevant. Whereas I couldn't even read a book in 21 years of my life.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm learning a lot about myself, and it's that general thesis. You know what I mean?
Man, I'm really glad you're being transparent with this because there's so much stuff. Somebody got to add up talking about making $1 million in 2 weeks and all this stuff that I know. And it doesn't exist, but we're living in a generation and people are making money doing this because everybody wants that instant gratification. Everybody want it right now. So I'm glad, and I want to slow down and I want to just do a summary so far what we had, because Lead to Greatness, I want you to listen to his story and listen to what happened. It didn't happen overnight. Listen to this. I wrote this down. It took him 3 years of grinding, working 18, 20 hours a day constantly for 3 years before he made his first $1 million. Let that sink in. So now after that, it took from the beginning to end about 7 years for him to get in a position. Now we have the systems. Now we have the people where he can work 4 hours a week and still make millions of dollars. It didn't happen in a year. That didn't even happen in 3 years. That happened over a 7-year period of time. And that's because he grind to get there. I mean, this wasn't no sleeping, relaxing, playing and doing a little bit here, a little bit that. I really lead to greatness. I'm saying this and I'm taking my time with this because I want you to get it. I want the Lead to Greatness audience to be ready to lead to greatness, to lead to your greatest potential. And he has a great journey and what we can pattern, because listen to me, and you have the little thing talking about making this amount of money in a year. It doesn't exist. If it exists, everybody be doing it. Everybody be doing
I
it.
signed up for a few of those.
I have, and that's why I know it don't work. I have
Yeah.
to.
They're good at selling you nothing.
They sell you circles. You just go in the circles.
Yeah.
On the circles.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, just to touch on it real quick. Again, it's nothing's easy that's worth doing. That's what I tell my kids. And if you expect a quick buck, it's not going to happen. And, as an e-commerce brand making our own product, when you sell $1 million, you don't really have much money. So cash flow is another lesson I had. So there's so many lessons I've learned here, and I think a lot of it's timing too. So you can't time these trends or sell what's hot. And I've seen the most successful people every time just do around something they already know, they already enjoy, and they just amplify that. And right now with COVID in the world, people are online more than ever, and it has been a unique time to sell anything online because the amount of people shopping is just insane. We've had some clients go from 800,000 a month to doing millions in a month. Even my brand, we sold out 8 times last year. So the opportunity is just crazy, and it's a unique time in the world to be a direct consumer brand that has their own story and their own unique product and angle. But it's not easy. You know what I mean? So nothing ever is easy, but if you start just documenting, I think that's the easiest way to start. And Gary Vee, I love the guy. I don't necessarily agree with all his values per se, but one of the things he does talk about is really getting your value and giving a little bit, and you got to do that, and you got to have the audience, and I think that takes time, and you just document. And that's his thesis is, don't just make content to make what you think people want, you just document as you go. So that's all I did, and social media does give speed of information and the ability for someone like me to do what I did, and we see it all the time with D2C brands, and crazy world, man.
That's a quote by Thomas Edison, and it says, opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and it looks like work.
I love that. That's a good one. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's exactly, it's going to take work. Lead to Greatness is going to take work. You have to put in the work. There's no way around it. You have to put in work, but the work is all worth it. How do you run, both business and, just continue to, the profit in both areas? How do you distinguish the difference and keep that going?
Yeah. So at this point, it's a lot about systems and people. So the other business, we're an e-com agency. So it's not like a total out of left field thing. What I did, I'll tell you exactly how it started. It's another accidental opportunity that I saw.
Okay.
So as I was having success with Bomb Tech, I started getting messages from other entrepreneurs, e-com owners saying, hey man, you're killing it. Can you help me? And I was like, nope, it's way too hard. And this was 4 or 5 years ago. I had Inc., Entrepreneur, a couple magazines write about me, which I was so flattered. And then Klaviyo, which is what we use for email, did a case study on Bomb Tech. And my first employee, Chris, who was the most unique individual in the world, he was working 80 hours a week on his own regard. I remember he's 22 years old, my first employee ever. He'd message me leaving the bars, you see the sales right now? You see the conversion rate? I can't. I was like, who is this kid? Unlike any employee in the world, just willing to do anything. So he came to me and he said, hey, these potential leads that you don't want to work with, I'm doing your email. Do you mind if I try to run their email? I said, dude, I want nothing more in life than to help you succeed. And I said, Chris, why don't you go side hustle with them, try to close them, and then tell me what the results are in a month. And so he closed 3 clients, which I was like, wow, that's pretty sick. And then he doubled their revenue in a month for all of them.
Wow.
I said, okay, what do you want to do? He goes, I want to do more of that. So we actually worked on a transition plan, and he went from my first employee ever to his own business owner. And then him and I decided to partner up. So now what I do is I get him leads and I help build systems based on my background, and he does the fulfillment and manages the team. So now we grew that from nothing, where he was an employee and I was paying him well, but it was like $60K. And now that business last month did 160,000 with him and I. So that now we're breaking, and this is 3 years old. So now this is an all cash flow business, service based. We got 7 employees. We're hiring 2 more, and we can see the opportunity is just massive there. But I told him going into it, this is what I'm good at. This is my strengths. I'm not going to do the other stuff, and it's allowed us to have a yin and yang partnership that all started from another opportunity that was natural. So it was an extension of what we're already doing. People were already messaging me for help. I didn't have a good offer that made sense that I could get behind. He did that part, and I just fueled the fire. And now we're crushing it, man. So it's just kind of crazy. I would have never thought in a million years to have one company, now have 2, and to sort them in my brain. I just have to have processes and blocks on my day. Like, I'm doing this time, doing that time. And now I'm just a coach. I just empower the team, and I empower my partner, and I have the tough conversations they don't want to hear, but I'm not a doer. I'm just a coach, I guess.
Oh man, that's so amazing. Absolutely. Moment of silence for the knowledge bomb. We have golfers, that listen to the Lead to Greatness podcast. So I have 2 questions from the golf audience to you. The first one is, how far do you drive?
Not far anymore, man. I'm getting old. 2 kids. I used to hit it over 300. Now 260, but I'm in the fairway. So.
Oh wow, that's good. 260 in the fairway.
Now I do. I'm better. It was funny when I was deep in the golf business, I didn't golf for 6 years. It was the worst thing ever. So now I'm like, the last 2 years, I'm getting back into it, and I'm falling back in love with it. So it's been good. Awesome.
Next question. What's your handicap?
I was averaging this year around 79, 80. So I don't have an official handicap. I'm too casual. So it's probably 8 to 10 right now.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. All right. Good. Man, that's awesome. I just had to, because, all the golfers want to know this. So yeah. That's for the golfers. If someone wants to reach out to you, and what you're doing, where should they go?
Yeah. LinkedIn, just Tyler Sullivan. You can reach me there, DM me, whatever. Get tons of DMs. Love to talk to you.
Man, on behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us.
I love doing this. Hopefully enough knowledge bombs for the audience and they got something out of it. And if they want to contact me, I'm open book, man.
Don't forget to subscribe to Lead to Greatness if this is your first time. And this podcast was helpful to you, leave a big thumbs up. And also, I want you to check out our Marriage Coach podcast, the podcast with my wife and I. If you're on iTunes, please rate this podcast and leave a review and help get the word out. Again, thank you, Lead to Greatness Nation, for joining us on today. Looking forward to seeing you again on next week. Till then, remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace. We out.